Today, we look at Question Time, one of the liveliest parts of Assembly business, which sees MLAs quizzing ministers over things like spending, legislation, and government policy. The main purpose of Assembly questions is to ask for information or to press for action. But why is Question Time such an important part of the democratic process? We caught up with Chris Little, MLA, to learn more about the importance of Question Time.
Question time gives members an excellent opportunity to hold ministers to account and to ask them questions of regional and local significance. Members of the public should absolutely follow Question Time, and indeed feel free to contact their local MLAs as well with questions that they would like to see raised with ministers.
Now that we know why Question Time is so important, let's take a look at how questions reach the Assembly floor. Question Time takes place on Mondays between 2:30 and 3:30 p.m. and on Tuesdays from 2 to 3 p.m. And every 12 weeks, there is an extra 30 minutes for questions to the Assembly Commission. The whole process begins in the Assembly Business Office. The Business Committee approves a rota detailing which ministers are going to be available for Question Time and when. Departmental ministers are placed on the rota alphabetically, from agriculture to social development, and the first and deputy first ministers take it in turn to answer every other week. Business office staff send the rota to all MLAs, who then decide whether or not they want to ask a question. We sat down with Mairead McGeehan, clerk in the Assembly's business office, to find out more about who can ask questions, how the order of questions is determined, and guidelines for questions.
Any member can table a question for oral answer in the chamber, although it's not convention for ministers to ask questions of other ministers. There's a completely random system for selecting questions. Members put their names into a ballot on a Tuesday. 15 names are selected totally at random, and they appear in alphabetical order on the list of members who were successful. Those 15 members then submit their questions to the business office. They're put onto the system. It goes into a shuffle, and it determines completely at random the order in which those 15 questions will be taken in the chamber. Standing orders sets out what questions can ask for. There are certain matters which can't be covered. There are issues. For instance, a member can't ask a minister's opinion on something. They can't ask hypothetical questions. They must fall within the minister's remit.
But what about members' presence during Question Time?
It's normal practice for party whips, to encourage all their members to attend Question Time, as it's intended as a highlight of the Assembly week.
The list of 15 questions and the order in which they will be asked is published on the Assembly website each Friday. Subsequently, answers to oral questions are contained in the official report or Hansards for each sitting as appropriate. During Question Time, the Speaker or one of the Deputy Speakers of the Assembly chairs the proceedings and calls upon members to ask their questions and supplementary questions.
The Speaker's main role is to ensure that the business runs as it's intended to run. He calls members to ask their questions and supplementary questions. The supplementary must be related to either the initial question or something that the minister has said in his or her response. The Speaker will decide who to call for a supplementary question, taking into account things like whether it's a committee chairperson or deputy chairperson, or if it's a constituency issue, he'll invite constituency members to ask a supplementary question. He'll also keep an eye to ensure that there's balance between the parties and the number of supplementary questions that are taken.
So now that we know how it works and what goes on during Question Time, why not tune in the next Monday or Tuesday to see it for yourself? If you want to find out more about Question Time and would like to view questions for future sittings, visit the Oral Questions webpage on the Assembly's website.